Hi everybody, I'm Miranda and today I'm going to be talking about the Beanie Baby-ification of Squishmallows and what this can say about how our consumer behavior is tied to our emotional well-being. The internet has been a massive driving factor behind the popularity of Squishmallows, whether they be food, planets, or cows. Their rise to popularity was sudden, with resale prices sometimes being well into the thousands on resale sites. The phenomenon now rivals the Beanie Baby craze of the 90s. Much like the Beanie Baby craze, Squishmallow prices flew to extreme heights over the past few years due to perceived exclusivity and popularity of certain characters. However, despite their universal popularity, both Squishmallows as well as Beanie Babies were around for a time before their market values skyrocketed. And arguably in the case of Squishmallows, both of them fell off and returned to some state of normal. So what exactly happened in both of these situations to cause such a big explosion? How long will they stick around afterwards? And what can this tell us about how people make purchasing choices? For me personally, the first time that I ever saw Squishmallows was at the Santa Monica Pier in 2017 as a carnival game prize. This also happens to be the exact year that Squishmallows were introduced to the marketplace, meaning that they must have had some strong backing to create such an immediate push. How were they already everywhere? For context and to answer that question, Kelly Toy Holdings was founded in 1986 by Jonathan Kelly. The company makes a variety of toys and plush versions of different licensed characters. Many of their toys are used as carnival prizes, and others are sold in stores. Apparently, Jonathan took a trip to Japan a few years before the release of Squishmallows and took notice of the cute style of their products, using that as the inspiration for his newest addition to the Kelly Toy brand, the Squishmallow. As an already well-established company with a wide network of distribution to amusement parks, it makes sense that Squishmallows were available quickly and on such a large scale. This distribution method is completely different from the Thai company, which started out as Beanie Babies being their main staple. They had to grow slowly over time, whereas Squishmallows were already in this position of product power. So while they were released in 2017, they started gaining traction almost immediately. But I doubt even Kelly Toy could have imagined what the internet would bring.
Don't ask me to go out, 'cause there's no money in my account. I'm broke, money zero, send donations, help out a friend.
Now, I'm going to transport you back to a time. It's 2020. You're stuck at home. Life sucks, you're feeling nostalgic about your childhood at any point in time before you were locked inside of your own home. Many people felt isolated, trapped, hopeless, and scared during this time. And it's only natural that in times where you feel that way, that you cling to the things that bring you comfort. And what's more comforting than a really squishy, cute stuffed animal? There's another aspect to this though, and that's that during this time, many people were tuned into the internet through TikTok. Online trends spread like wildfire as people feel influenced by their peers and strive to fit in. One viral video on Squishmallows could mean a huge wave in sales for Kelly Toy. And perhaps it wasn't just one video, but a wave sure happened.
I can't believe this just happened. So I went to Ralph's, not even thinking about Squishmallows for once in my life because I needed to get Valentine's Day dinner stuff, and look who I found. I cannot even believe that this happened to me. It's incredible. I can't even. Anyway, I've been manifesting 3 Averys for a long time. It's a long story, but like, don't come at me in the comments.
So I have a small aside about why cows in particular. These are one of the most popular Squishmallow animals, but TikTok promotes certain trends due to the demographics of the people who use it. And during 2020, cottagecore was very popular on the app, with fashion, music, and aesthetics leaning towards a sort of naturey and pastel lifestyle. Things like strawberries were really popular, cows were really popular. Considering this, cows became one of the animals that were selling out fastest in stores. People wanted more of them. They seemed more exclusive, and then they became more valuable. But I'm not sure that the popularity of cows would happen today. Fast forward to now, TikTok is a whole amalgamation of different niches, styles. There's no one giant wave that captures us all. But in a time where we were looking for a feeling of togetherness brought together by our shared isolation, and right in the beginning of TikTok's rise to prominence, there was much more potential for a worldwide phenomenon. But back to Squishmallow's predecessor. In 1998, Beanie Babies comprised of 10% of all sales on eBay. This one small plush toy had completely taken over the resale industry. It was part of the time period of extreme optimism surrounding the new millennium and the beginning of the internet. But prices of Beanie Babies were only high due to their perceived value as an investment and commodity. Ty Warner was a smart businessman who manipulated supply in order to increase demand. He priced Beanie Babies at an affordable $5, but only sold them at specialty stores and limited the quantity that people could buy. He never revealed how many of a certain plush were made. They were not necessarily limited edition, but they came and go, being retired and brought back over time. But what happened to Beanie Babies? I'm sure a lot of us learned about the stock market collapse in 1928 while we were in school. This is basically the same, but with Beanie Babies instead of stocks. In 1999, Beanie Babies retired a group of their plush toys, like they usually did, which would increase demand, but this time, that demand did not increase. And everyone who was collecting Beanie Babies noticed this. They started to panic, sell off their collections, trying to make at least a bit of their money back. Ty threatened to retire all Beanie Babies completely, but even this couldn't help the Beanie bubble from bursting. But who cares about Beanie Babies anyway? This video is supposed to be on Squishmallows, right? Well, the 2020 mass hysteria surrounding Squishmallows seems fairly similar to the Beanie Baby craze in the 90s. Maybe not as mainstream or as lucrative of an investment, but resale prices are pretty high sometimes. And it's not like most of these expensive Squishmallows are actually limited edition. It's not like they necessarily make less of the cows than of other Squishmallows, but they limit supply to select retailers, mostly Walgreens, and only release them at certain times, considering seasons and different holidays, never promising that they'll bring back any of the Squishmallows they've made. Since people think cows are the most popular, they are. There's no real basis behind that. But even beyond the similarity between Squishmallows and Beanie Babies is the reason that we're turning to them at all. It's incredibly scary how much of our financial decisions are controlled by our emotional state. We can cling on to trends simply because we are vulnerable. In hard times, we buy hundreds of little stuffed cows. When faced with an internet we don't understand and a new market, we panic buy hundreds of little bears. Feelings of desperation and uncertainty, whether they're positive or negative, can lead to rash decision-making, and we need to be more aware of what's fueling our consumer behavior. I found that after the pandemic, I had purchased so much stuff that I didn't really need. I had Squishmallows, manga, dolls, and although I love this stuff so much, I'm starting to realize that I probably wouldn't have bought most of it if I hadn't been bored that day or feeling bad. Retail therapy on its own is a problem, but where we have TikTok algorithms feeding deeper into our desires to consume and comfort our anxieties, we have Squishmallows. Where we have news coverage and eBay sales showing us we can make an investment for our future, we have Beanie Babies. And where we have media and marketing, which manipulates our emotional well-being to make a sale, we have a problem with consumerism.